Hey folks, we're back. It's NFL Daily here on this Monday evening. Cam Rogers coming at you alongside the draft analyst Tom Downey. Tom, the dust has settled a little bit, my friend.
Yeah.
From the NFL draft.
Yeah, not so much for the teams. They're making all these undrafted free agent moves as well. They've been working the phone lines really since the minute the draft ended, even before for a lot of teams, and continue to do stuff afterward as well.
All right, we're going to go through all of the latest undrafted free agent signings. So, of course, they're no longer free agents, and we'll count you guys down. We're going in order of your big board here, Tom. So let's take a look at Quenton Meeks. Bit of a surprise that he did not get drafted. Very physical corner there out of Stanford. He's with the Jags.
Look, we're going to have a why he went undrafted for each of these options, and I still don't know why Quenton Meeks went undrafted. It really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. He's got the size you want. Yeah, there were some concerns about the speed side of things, but he tested very well. And it's one thing to see a long lean cornerback that doesn't run that well. Maybe he goes undrafted, but I thought that Meeks ran more than well enough to at least go on day 3. So maybe at some point we'll get word of what happened with Quenton Meeks, but look, I love this signing by the Jacksonville Jags. I think this gives them some great ability here to have upside at the cornerback spot. They weren't in desperate need of cornerback help, but an undrafted free agent, why the heck not there? I think Quenton Meeks makes the roster. I think he starts here maybe as that number 4 cornerback, but if at some point you have to see a scenario where they can't afford both Jalen Ramsey and Igwebuike going forward, I think Meeks has the upside to be an actual starting cornerback there. I like what the Jags have done there. They, in general, you'll see them mentioned a few times on this one. They got quite a few great undrafted free agents. I'm very pleased with what the Jags did in the draft and in the undrafted free agency class.
A team with not a lot of needs going into the NFL draft and still having a pretty darn good one did the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they have Quenton Meeks there, fantastic cornerback there. Let's get to the next name on the list, and Denver added another edge rusher because why not? Jeff Holland, edge rusher out of Auburn, Tom.
Look, there are going to be players that I miss on, players that NFL teams miss on. I was a little surprised Jeff Holland got drafted. I guess from my perspective and my big board, I guess I underestimated just how important they were going to view the size and the scheme. He's limited to being a 3-4 scheme as an outside guy. He put up good production at Auburn. He tested well enough. Maybe there's some unknown medical issue that we don't know about, but if I had to guess here, it's the size and the scheme issues. He's only a fit for teams that have 3-4 outside linebackers there. He now joins a very, very deep depth chart at the outside linebacker spot for the Denver Broncos. Might not have been his best place for him to actually go to. I might have preferred somewhere else, but you got Von Miller, Shane Ray, Shaquille Barrett, second-round pick last year, DeMarcus Walker. They want to keep it outside linebacker, and Bradley Chubb.
Pretty good company.
I have a tough time seeing Jeff Holland making the Broncos roster. Now, the good news is here, with various other positions that you see happen throughout the NFL draft, that he is going to have the chance here to go elsewhere, potentially to sign with another NFL team and have that type of situation there for Holland if he shines well with the Denver Broncos. Cam, I'm curious what you think of their overall draft class here.
Yeah, I think Denver did a pretty darn good job getting Bradley Chubb there at number 5. It's kind of funny to say it's a value selection, but it certainly was. And not getting a quarterback there in that first round tells me John Elway is confident in the abilities of Case Keenum there. And with Paxton Lynch as the backup, obviously there's no threat there for Keenum to lose his job. So with that said, I think Denver's in a good position. I love the selection of Royce Freeman as well. He had a big-time workload with Oregon, and I think he'll have a good one with the Denver Broncos. All right, we ready for number 3 here?
Yes.
Let's get to it. Sean Welsh, guard out of Iowa, well-coached school for offensive linemen. He's going to Washington here. Tom, guard, a big-time concern for the Redskins, and they addressed it here.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Welsh didn't get drafted. I think in general, compared to my big board, I think I overvalued the guards, so the NFL draft and the teams kind of undervalued them in reality there. I think he could have been a low-end starter, potentially early in his NFL career. I think Sean Welsh makes the Redskins roster. They need another guard alongside Brandon Schreff. Why not another Iowa player as well? So I like this pick, or this addition, I should say, the signing, quite a bit for the Washington Redskins. They needed more guard help there. I think Welsh brings that. He's not going to be the undrafted free agent guy that wins a starting job, I don't think, but this is a great depth play at the very least there. He's a little bit undersized for a guard. That's a big reason why he slid down the NFL draft and wasn't drafted at all. But I like the addition for the Redskins. This is a good player that fills a big need as well. If this had been a draft pick, I would have given an A.
I mean, so you talk about value, Tom. 107 on your board.
Oh, totally.
It's fantastic signing there. And Quanjo, the other guard for the Washington Redskins, not a very good player, at least struggled when he did see his fair share of reps a year ago. So we'll see if Welsh can get a starting role there or some sort of repetition amount. All right, let's get to the next name on our list, Josh Adams. He's now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Adams, of course, running back from Notre Dame, Tom.
I'm not overly surprised he was drafted. I knew that I was higher on Josh Adams than almost anybody else out there, but he put up great production at Notre Dame, and there were big speed concerns about Adams, and then he went out and ran a 4.48 40-yard dash at his pro day. Now, those are pro day numbers, but even if you add the 0.05 seconds, that's the general rule of thumb to balance out the pro day numbers that are often far too low there, it's still a 4.5. In the 4.5. So I love the addition by the Eagles and Josh Adams here. Maybe he doesn't win a roster spot because they're bringing back Darren Sproles as well, but I really, really love the pickup of Adams for the Philadelphia Eagles there. A lot of bodies already at this position. You bring back Darren Sproles. You have Korey Clement as well. This is great shape for the Philadelphia Eagles overall.
Okay, so Josh Adams there in Philadelphia. Let's take a look at the next undrafted free agent who has now found a home. J.C. Jackson, cornerback from the University of Maryland, now with the New England Patriots, the 11th ranked cornerback on your board, Tom.
I think I know why J.C. Jackson fell. There are some pretty significant off-the-field concerns around J.C. Jackson. I thought he was a pretty talented cornerback on film. Came in a little bit smaller than you wanted to see. He's built almost like size-wise and play style-wise like an outside press corner guy, but he's built kind of more like a nickel, so there are some size concerns there. But in reality, I think he fell in the draft because of some pretty notable off-the-field concerns. He was charged with 4 felony counts stemming from an armed robbery there, even though he was later found not guilty of those charges. So the character flaws, I think, are why J.C. Jackson slid. I thought he was kind of a Mike Hughes-like character. He got flagged quite a bit as well at Maryland, but I thought this was a really good undrafted pickup by the Patriots, who we'll mention later. I don't really love all of their draft picks this year.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Patriots later in the show here, but I will say Duke Dawson there out of Florida I think would be a nice cornerback addition for New England going forward. Throw him there at slot and bye-bye Patrick Chung and Eric Rowe. All right, let's get to the next name on our list. Godwin Igwebuike, safety.
Peak name.
And he is with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, he's short, not small. I thought his testing was going to really help him out. He wowed at the combine, ran a 4.4 40-yard dash, had a really great 3-cone drill, which was confusing because he wasn't great when he was in coverage. It looked like he had some of those stiff hips there. That was the big concern on that side of things. I think that's a big factor in why he went undrafted there. He's going to be a good special teams player, though. I thought he could be a Justin Simmons type, a guy that I thought might have ended up being going higher. He didn't go higher, had some good ball skills there, but he's kind of in almost a free safety's body, but plays like a strong safety. So he's a bit of a tweener on that end. But I was surprised he went undrafted. I thought for sure the great testing he showed was going to be enough to get him drafted this year.
All right, so he's at number 6 on our list here. Let's get to the next name. We've got Tony Brown, cornerback out of Alabama, joining a very talented secondary there with the LA Chargers.
Yeah, I was a little surprised he went undrafted this year. He didn't have great ball skills, didn't play a ton. He was kind of the third corner on that Alabama defense this year. There's some technique work there, but he showed a lot of special teams ability and tested very well on that end. I think a Johnson Bitamosi type guy who didn't do a whole lot didn't do a whole lot on the field outside of special teams. That was the concern there for me. Maybe he doesn't bring a whole lot in terms of first, second, and third downs, but on special teams, I thought he could thrive there. You know, I think maybe the reason he went drafted there, the testing didn't always match what he did on field. He had a great testing, didn't show that quite as much on the actual playing in pads type deal there. He was also sent home before the team's bowl game in 2015 and was suspended by the NCAA, so there might be some off-the-field concerns there going on with Tony Brown. Maybe teams didn't like what they found out in his background, but I like the pickup by the Chargers. They have quite a few corners already that build a very good, strong core there.
Yeah, really good.
But you can never have enough corners, so I like it when teams take risks with various players, be it late in the draft or on the undrafted free agent side of
Jason Verrett coming back from injury. Casey Hayward just got paid. Trevor Williams, Desmond King had great years in 2017. Tony Brown, now a member of the LA Chargers there. Let's go to the Cleveland Browns. Trenton Thompson, defensive lineman out of Georgia, now in the Rust Belt.
He went undrafted because he did not produce. A highly touted recruit at Georgia, he didn't produce in the way that he was supposed to produce, and I think that lack of production leads to teams questioning why. Now, he's a pretty good athlete. He was highly touted. Why didn't he have that elite production? And the likelihood is, man, he just might not be that good, Cam. The upside might be there, but if he never figures it out, then what's the point?
Why he went undrafted, lack of production. That's a pretty darn good reason there.
Well, but the talent before this was there, but he never capitalized on it. So he was ranked as a 5th-round guy for me because of the upside, but if he didn't, or a 4th-round guy for me, but if he didn't ever reach it, what's the point?
All right, let's go to Tony Adams here, who's now a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was a guard out of NC State who went undrafted here, Tom, and the Jags, of course, stole some positive headlines by winning the white whale of the guard position, getting Andrew Norwell there. Here comes Tony Adams as well.
NFL.com was really high on him. I wasn't quite as high, but I still had a good grade on him. I was a little bit surprised that he didn't get drafted. I'm going to assume it was the size there. The size was the big issue, and I thought his film was pretty good. Didn't give up a sack, did give up quite a few hurries as well, but I was kind of surprised. I guess in general, this year's guard class just wasn't as highly regarded as I had viewed it and as I had thought it was going to be viewed, because there were a lot of guys at the guard position that did not get drafted this year. Quite a few. A couple guys later from smaller schools, but I thought there could have been upwards of 15 guys. I don't think we hit double digits among guards. We did it if you include centers.
All right,
Just
looks
a
like
small
that
class.
Right guard position is open for business. A.J. Cann struggled big time for Jacksonville a year ago. Let's see what Tony Adams can do there. Let's get to number 10 here. Deontay Burnett, wide receiver, now with the Tennessee Titans. He's out of USC, Tom.
He's just small. That's the reason Deontay Burnett went undrafted there. He checked in at 186. I don't know if his playing size was that big. I mean, we'll show you the B-roll here with the photos. He looks so frail.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's going to be able to hold up for a 16-game NFL season. Got some good speed. That's intriguing there, but he went undrafted in a group that had a lot of wide receivers going undrafted here. That's why Deontay Burnett was not selected this year. I wouldn't have invited him as a slot guy, but I totally get why he was not drafted this year.
Okay, so he checks in at number 10 in our top 20 undrafted free agent signings. Let's summarize so far what we have. We're at the midway point. Quenton Meeks there with the Jags, Holland with the Broncos, Welsh with the Redskins, Josh Adams and the Philadelphia Eagles, and J.C. Jackson and the New England Patriots. And then 6 through 10, Igwebuike with the Bucs. We got
such a fun name to say.
It is a great fun name, no doubt about it. We got Tony Brown with the Chargers, Thompson with the Browns, Tony Adams with the Jaguars, and Deontay Burnett with the Tennessee Titans.
2 Tonys there.
There you go. You're watching NFL Daily presented by Autolist. Get that car shopping done in a flash. Autolist.com is the way to go to search this massive database of new and used cars. Tom, you are in the market.
Yeah, I do need to get a car. I can't be bumming rides from everyone forever in my entire life there. So going to Autolist makes my life easier. It's so much easier to just have all the cars I'm looking for in one spot. I don't have to go to 18 different sites and get the same car on 6 of them.
Very easy site to navigate as well. Autolist.com, the way to go. Let's go to number 11 here on our list. We've got Kevin Toliver, the second cornerback now with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, I was definitely just too high on Kevin Toliver because I see the size, and I like size in my cornerbacks. I think that it's easy to find a nickel guy. It's harder to find a good outside corner, but I think the reason he went undrafted in general, there's some medical stuff going on with him, didn't have great ball skills. There are also off-field concerns. He got benched this year and never actually earned back his starting job. So I'll just take the L on this one. I think I was too high on Kevin Toliver.
All right, next on the list here, we got Quin Blanding, who's now a safety with the Washington Redskins. What's the problem with him? Why did he go undrafted?
It's just the speed. He's going to be a box safety. He was a highly touted recruit, but he's not going to have the speed there. There is a role for him on an NFL roster, but it's as a box safety that can help on special teams there. He's not a great athlete. I think he ends up having an NFL career because I think he's going to be a good box safety, a good special teams guy, but I can see why he went undrafted because if you're not fast and you can't cover, teams don't like you that much.
Big surprise here that this guy went undrafted as well. Allen Lazard, who's now a wide receiver with the Jacksonville Jaguars, add him to the list of wideouts with the wide receiver number 2 ceiling.
Yeah, I was actually really disappointed that Allen Lazard was not drafted because the big knock on him was speed, but he ran a 4.5 40-yard dash, or 4.55. So he tested well enough when speed was his biggest concern. I thought he definitely should have been drafted. I was very disappointed by that. But again, the Jags making a great undrafted free agent signing. The Jags said you're going to be our only undrafted receiver that we sign. I would not be surprised if he makes the roster there. He's got nice body control. He could even make it as a big slot receiver. There's some buzz that he might move him to tight end. I could see that being the case if he can bulk him up another 15-ish pounds.
How about this? Seattle went guard, Tom. Skyler Phillips. guard there out of Idaho State. And Seattle had to make a move there at some point.
I actually like this one. And look, he went undrafted, not a lot of guards. There's some size issues with him. He's a little bit undersized for a guard. And of course, the level of competition is a big concern there, but he played all 5 spots at Idaho State. So the flex guy is definitely there. Seattle definitely ignored the offensive line too much again this year, but getting Phillips is a nice way of helping to get some more depth there. I would have really liked that pick had he been drafted.
Let's stay in the NFC West here. We've got a name for the LA Rams. Tegray Scales, a linebacker. Linebacker was a big-time need for LA.
It's funny, he went to Indiana. The other Indiana linebacker, Christian Covington, got drafted. I would have put money on Scales getting drafted because the production was way, way better. 126 tackles, 23.5 tackles for loss in the previous year. Still a good production this year. The speed and the size is the big concern there. Didn't test all that well, so he's an undersized 2-down thumper. That's not what a whole lot of teams want, but I think for the Rams, I could see him making the roster and playing a decent role at inside linebacker. I like what the Rams did at the middle linebacker spot, a big need for them. Scales was a very solid pickup.
All right, so Tegray Scales there at number 15 on the list. Let's summarize what we have so far, ladies and gentlemen. Quenton Meeks there at number 1 for the Jags. Holland, Welsh, Josh Adams, J.C. Jackson as well. Then 6 through 10 we go here. Igwebuike with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tony Brown, Thompson, Tony Adams, Deontay Burnett there at number 10 with the Tennessee Titans. And then 11 through 15 here, we've got Toliver there, as well as Blanding, Alan Lazard, Phillips, and Tegray Scales with the LA Rams. Let's go to number 16 on our list here. Akrum Wadley, now with the Tennessee Titans, Tom.
Look, producer Harris and I got into big debates about the talent of Akrum Wadley. I said he was not that talented. He was down at 16th on my halfback big board. I still thought he was worth drafting, but in reality, he is an undersized 3rd down back that kind of plays almost like a featured back. The speed is lacking for a guy that has just such little size there. That's why he went undrafted there. He regressed as a senior too. His yards per carry went way, way down. You got to wonder, maybe he's had too many carries. He had a big workload at Iowa. Might not be the same player he was in the NFL, and he struggles in pass protection. Not a good thing for a 3rd down back.
Let's go to Simmie Cobbs Jr., wide receiver here, and he's now with the Washington Redskins, Tom.
You wish he were faster. That's a big reason why he went undrafted there. There are some hands concerns as well. 11.25 drop rate. That's a big, big red flag for a wide receiver. He wins with size. The ankle injury that made him miss 2016, that might not have been fully cleared there. A couple different red flags there. I thought he would get drafted. There's definitely some upside with Cobbs as a big possession receiver for the red zone, but tough to see him going drafted. Redskins, if they eventually move on, maybe down the road from Josh Doctson, Cobbs could kind of fill a similar role, though he's not quite the deep threat that Doctson can be.
All right, let's go to Korey Robertson here, who's now with the Minnesota Vikings. You had him at number 20 on your big board for wide receivers.
There had been some buzz when he first came out of round 2, round 3 range. That's what Ian Rappaport had said. Clearly not ended up being the case there. He's not that fast. That's the big reason why he went undrafted. The concern is he isn't the biggest guy. How is he going to get separation if he's not that fast and not that big? He doesn't even have the Laquan Treadwell size, so that's the concern with Robinson. He kind of fills a similar role to Treadwell. He might be a practice squad guy early, but the lack of separation is a massive concern for Korey.
Got a quarterback to look at here. Kurt Benkert, who's now a member of the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, quarterback there out of UVA, Tom.
There were some that were hyping up Kurt Benkert as one of the better quarterbacks in this year's draft class. I was not on that list there. You see, I had him as my number 9 overall quarterback. I was surprised he wasn't drafted. He was great against the Miami Hurricanes. 4 TDs, 384 yards, got a good percentage of passes, but he was under 59% for his time both with Miami and this year. Inconsistency, and there were quite a few medical and injury red flags in his past as well. I think that's why he went undrafted, but I really like this pickup for the Falcons. He could develop into a backup quarterback for Atlanta.
All right, then at number 20, this guy got mentioned a lot in the comments section during our NFL draft coverage, Tom. Holton Hill, cornerback out of Texas.
Technically, he wasn't the 20th best guy available on my board, but I did want to make note of him because I love the talent of Holton Hill. Purely on talent, top 50 player for me. But the red flags are everywhere. Off the field wise, he got suspended from Texas. Holton Hill has had an issue reportedly with failed drug tests. That's the issue with Hill. Had he been clean off the field, he probably would have been at least a round 2 pick. He went undrafted. Now he gets a chance to go work out for the Vikings. The talent's there. The question is the off the field and the focus there for Holton Hill?
All right, he checks in at number 20 on the top 20 undrafted free agent signings. Let's summarize the entire list here. We got Meeks, Holland, Welsh, Adams, and J.C. Jackson there with the Patriots. We got Godwin with the Bucs, Tony Brown with the Chargers. There's Thompson with the Browns, Tony Adams with the Jags, Deontay Burnett with the Tennessee Titans, no longer Eric Decker there. Kevin Toliver with the Bears, Quin Blanding with the Redskins, Lazard found a team in the Jaguars. Yeah. There is Phillips, a guard with the Seattle Seahawks, and Tegray Scales with the L.A. Rams. Finally, 16 through 20 we go. Akrum, Wadley, and the Titans. There's Cobbs Jr. with the Redskins, Robertson, Benker, and Holton Hill with the Minnesota Vikings.